Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video, I'll be unboxing this Samsung Note 10 Plus. Now in India, this phone is priced at 80,000 rupees for the base variant, which comes with 12GB of RAM and 256GB of RAM. And the next variant is priced at 90,000 rupees for the same 12GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. It's available in three colors, Aura Black, Aura White and Aura Glow. And we have the Aura Black color. And that's probably the reason why the stylus is in black on this box. Anyway guys, now let's get on with the unboxing. So guys, here's the box. On the front, it's pretty clean. We just have a quick look at the S Pen, and at the bottom it says Note 10 Plus. On the sides, it says Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus on the left side. On the right side, once again, it's completely plain. On the back, we have some of the most highlighting features. At the bottom, we have the IMEI numbers and some more information. Now, without any further delays, let's just get on with unboxing. There we go. So guys, first we have the phone itself. Let me just put that aside. It comes in a plastic wrapping. Next we have a separator. Next we have a 25 watt power adapter. This phone supports 45 watts, but it just comes with 25 watts out of the box. So there we go. This probably has earbuds. Okay. This is the tool that we use to remove the nibs from the S Pen. So let's just put that aside. Next we have AKG earphones with a braided cable and a Type-C adapter. It also has an inline mic. Here it is. And we also get these extra tips. Next we have a Type-C to Type-C charging cable. This is a pretty new one for me. And these are all the contents of this box. Now let's look at what we have in this box. So inside we have a cardboard box. And on the back we have the SIM card ejector. Let's open it up. So guys, inside the box we have a quick start guide, warranty card information, regional log guide, and a free soft silicone pouch. Pretty bad. Now let's come back to the phone. Let me just peel these stickers off. It just has a single sticker on the back. And this is how the phone looks on the back. On the front there seems to be a screen guard pre-applied. I'm just gonna leave it there. So guys, now let's have a quick physical overview. On the back, this phone has a completely symmetric curved Corning Gorilla Glass 6 for protection. At the top, we have the camera module with a slight camera bump. Beside that, we have the time of flight camera setup along with a single LED flash. At the center, we have the Samsung branding. And at the bottom, it is completely plain. Now on the front, you get that massive display with super tiny bezels at the top and bottom with a small punch hole design right at the center. Now for the sides, on the right side it is completely plain, probably making room for that S Pen. On the left side we have the power and volume buttons. There's no dedicated button for Bixby on this phone, but we are going to use the same power button for Bixby as well. At the top it has a SIM card tray housing a nano SIM slot along with a hybrid SD card slot, so you can either use two nano SIMs or a nano SIM and an SD card on this phone. That's followed by an antenna band and a small hole kind of an outlet for the earpiece. Beside that we have the secondary microphone for noise cancellation. Now at the bottom it has two antenna bands. Starting from the right side it has a cutout for the S Pen, followed by a speaker grill for stereo speakers, a Type-C charging port and the primary microphone. Now with all this phone has a thickness of 7.9 mm and weighs 196 grams. So guys, now I'm just gonna put on the case and see how good it's gonna be for at least a couple of days. So this is how the case looks on the front and this is how it looks on the back. It has a raised lip for the camera module and it even has a pretty sufficiently big raised lip for the display. On the sides it's pretty much flat, but at the top and bottom it has a raised lip. So no matter how you place your phone, whether it's on the back or on its face, display and camera modules are very well protected. It's gonna give you some additional grip and help you prevent smudges, but that's it. It doesn't offer you any kind of protection. So if you're worried about dropping your phone, I suggest you to get a better case as soon as possible. My recommendation, try UAG cases. So guys, now I'm going to turn on the phone and set it up and come back to you in a second. So guys, this is how the phone looks once we turn it on. This is your default launcher and these are all apps that come pre-installed. It doesn't have a lot of bloatware, but it does come with a lot of Samsung applications you might not use. Now let's go to settings and let's check out free storage and RAM. So guys, out of that 12GB of RAM, we get about 7.9GB of RAM free. And out of that 256GB of storage, you get about 224GB of space for your user apps and user data, which is definitely more than sufficient for most people. Now here's the about page, and this phone is running Samsung's One UI version 1.5, based on Android version 9.0, that's Android Pie. Right now it has July security patch, but once I turn on the Wi-Fi, we might receive a new update. Now these are the complete specifications. On the rear you get a triple camera setup with a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle camera with f2.2 aperture and 123-degree field of view. That's followed by a 12 megapixel primary camera with variable aperture, optical image stabilization and 77-degree field of view. Following that is the telephoto camera with 12 megapixel sensor with f2.1 aperture, optical image stabilization and 45-degree field of view. Beside that we have the depth vision camera setup. For selfies it has a 10 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture and 80-degree field of view. On the front it has a massive 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED Infinity O display with Quad HD Plus resolution, 498 ppi and 1308 nits of brightness. It's also HDR10 Plus certified. Under the hood, this phone sports an Exynos 9825 processor, which is the industry's first 7nm processor built using the EUV processing technology. It is an octa-core processor with 2 custom cores, 2 Cortex-A75 cores and 4 Cortex-A55 cores. It also has Mali G67 MP12 GPU. It also has an integrated neural processing unit for all the AI related features. Base variant comes with 12GB of LPDDR4X RAM and 256GB of UFS 3.0 storage. So read-write speeds on this phone are gonna be insanely fast. On the software front, it's gonna be running Samsung's One UI based on Android 9.0, that's Android Pie. Now powering all this is a 4300 mAh battery which supports fast charging and comes with a 25W power adapter inside the box. This phone also supports 45W wired charging, but you have to get a separate power adapter for that. This phone also supports wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, and it's much faster than the Samsung S10 and the S10 Plus. So guys, those are the complete specifications. So guys, here's the camera interface, and by default it opens up the primary camera. That's a 12 megapixel primary camera with variable aperture. And over here we have the toggle to switch between different cameras. On the right side we have the telephoto lens, and on the left side we have the wide angle camera. You can also switch between these cameras by doing a pinch to zoom gesture, and just by doing that you can switch between different cameras. Now over here we have a toggle for scene optimizer, which automatically detects the scene and enhances the image. So that's the toggle. Now if we go to video recording, we can record with the primary camera. We can also record with the telephoto lens, which by the way also has optical image stabilization. We can also record with the wide angle camera. Now on this phone we also have super steady mode. We can enable it by using this toggle over here, and once we do that we can get super stable footage. And even in this mode we can zoom in a bit. This is probably the telephoto lens. Next we have live focus video recording, which blurs the background of a subject while recording video in real time. Now this is a unique feature that's available only on this phone. Samsung Note 10 or the Samsung S10 series doesn't have this feature. Now over here we also have different modes. We can change the background blur effect. We can also have this blurred effect. I'll show you sample footage in a sec. Next we have super slow motion video recording, followed by slow motion video recording, and that's it. Now on the left side we have live focus mode, which is portrait mode for the rear camera. And we also have this different options. First we have the regular blur effect, next we have big circles, next we have spinning effect and zoom effect, and finally color spot, which makes the subject in color and the rest of the things are in black and white. So once again I'll be showing you sample pictures later. Next we have pro mode, and this phone gives us tons of features to take a perfect shot, almost DSLR level features. Next we have regular panorama mode, which we can take with the wide angle camera or the telephoto lens. Next we have a dedicated night mode to take better shots in low lighting conditions, and we can also use it with the primary camera, telephoto lens, and even with the wide angle camera, and we can also use it for selfies. That's a new feature. Now finally we have a dedicated mode for FUT to make it look even more pleasing. Now this is the interface for the front facing camera, and once again we have 2 toggles over here. By default the 10 megapixel camera used on this phone is pretty wide, but intentionally it has been cropped to give you a regular side selfie. So if you want a wider selfie, switch to the first option. It is not super wide, but it's definitely wider than before. Next we have video recording, and there's no super steady mode for front camera video recording like the Samsung A80. Next we have live focus video recording, which is probably not going to be as good as the Samsung A80 or as good as the rear camera. Now once again we also have different shade effects and different blur effects. Once again I'll show you the sample footage later. Next we have hyperlapse for the front camera. And if you go to the left side, we have live focus mode, which is portrait selfie, and we can also change the amount of background blur effect you want before taking a picture. And even after you take a picture, that's take a portrait selfie, you can change the amount of background blur effect you get. Next we can also change the background blur effect. We can also bring in spins and zoom effect, And finally spotlight, which just makes the subject in color and the rest of the things are in black and white. So as you can see, my hand is in black and white right now. Finally, we have the dedicated mode even for the front camera, and it should be doing a pretty good job. So guys, now these are some sample pictures and the footage from the rear camera. So guys, this is the footage recorded using the telephoto camera, and even while recording the video we can switch the cameras. So now I'm switching to the primary camera, and now we are recording from the primary camera itself. Now you can check out the stabilization. I'm just walking around with my dog, and now I'm going to switch to the wide angle camera, and here we go. Now let's test the fingerprint scanner and face unlock features. I've already set them up, so let's start off with the fingerprint scanner. Now when the phone is locked, you can just touch the screen once or tap it once to bring up the fingerprint scanner, and then place your finger on it to unlock the phone. And as you have seen, it is kinda slow, probably pretty slow. Now let's try it with the display on, and now it's gonna be fast. It's still not super fast, but faster than before. So guys, the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner used on this phone might be better and secure than regular in-display fingerprint scanners, but it is pretty slow and pretty much not usable. I'd rather use face unlock. So now let me test face unlock, and it is super fast. Let me just try that once again. That's the lock screen, and now it's unlock. It still doesn't feel as fast as the Oppo and Vivo phones, not even as fast as the previous OnePlus phones, but it's still way faster than the fingerprint scanner on this phone. Now let's test the speaker loudness. This phone has a stereo speaker setup. At the bottom it has a regular speaker, and at the top it uses the earpiece as a speaker. Now there's a small outlet over here at the top. People have been mistaking it for a stereo speaker, but it is just an outlet for the earpiece, and there is no dedicated speaker at the top. Instead, it uses the same earpiece for stereo effect. Now let's listen to some music. That's at max volume.
Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities.
So guys, as you have seen, speakers on this phone are super loud, super clear, and while we are on it, this is how the display looks like on full screen mode while watching videos or playing games. There is a small bezel at the top and bottom, but that's almost negligible. I wish it was completely zero, just like on the sides. Now this phone also has Dolby Atmos sound enhancement, and it can be used even with the speakers. I've already turned it on, and you also have different profiles to further improve the audio experience. I've set it to auto for now. Now the most highlighting feature about a Note series phone is the S Pen. So let's check that out. So we have the S Pen over here. I'm just going to click it once, it's going to pop out, and when I remove it, I get a nice haptic feedback, and this is how the pen looks. It has a button over here with some additional functionality, and this button at the bottom is completely useless, but it does make a nice sound. Now when the phone is locked and when you remove the S Pen, it directly takes you to this quick note application, and you can write whatever you want. And now you also get a sound every time you touch the screen with the S Pen. So every time you scribble on the note, it generates a sound just like you get with a pen and a paper. And here's a quick preview. I'm just amplifying the sound now. Now this is just one of the things this S Pen can do. Whenever you bring it out, you can see a small bar over here. You can touch it for extra options. Now these are all the features that we have. Besides that, we also have new gestures where we can press this button and do different gestures to perform these actions. You can do a single click for play or pause music. So that's play and pause. Next we can double tap this button to play the next song. So that's working as well. Next we can press this button and do a swipe up for volume up. We can do it swipe down to volume down, and there we go, that's a quick preview. You can press and do a swipe left gesture to play the previous song, and you can press and swipe right to play the next track. There we go. Finally, you can press and hold to open the camera application. Now in the camera application, you can click it once to take a picture. You can click it twice to switch between the primary camera and the rear camera. And to check out the shortcuts, these are all the shortcuts we have. Now I can press this button and do a gesture like this, bring it up. To switch between the front camera and rear camera, I can do it again to switch to the front camera, and I can do the same gesture again to switch to the rear camera. I can also do a swipe left gesture to switch to the right mode. I can do a swipe right gesture to go back to the left mode. I can also do a rotating gesture to zoom in and zoom out. It's really ridiculous. Now we can also press and hold this button to take burst shots like that. And now here's a quick preview. So these are all the pictures that I've taken with the S Pen. It does look pretty cool. You can also use the S Pen while watching a video. Once again, just press to play or pause. And there we go. You can also double press for the next song and swipe left for the previous video or the previous song. So here are the gestures. So this S Pen has a lot of features, and it's going to take a complete video to just talk about it. Now whenever we put back this S Pen, it makes a nice haptic feedback which feels really satisfying. Now Samsung says they removed the audio jack on this phone to provide a better haptic feedback. I must say, haptic feedback on this phone is really the best. It is probably the best in an Android phone. Now besides that, this phone also has wireless charging and reverse wireless charging. You can access the reverse wireless charging from notification toggles. And you also have Samsung Pay, which happens to be my all-time favorite feature. Now earlier while unboxing the video, I've shown you this small device which can be used to remove the nibs. So you also get 2 extra nibs inside the box, and you get this tool to remove the nib. Just place it in this way and pull out the nib, and it comes out. So this is what this tool is used for. So guys, now before I conclude, these are the Antutu and Geekbench scores. So guys, this is the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. It's an awesome looking phone. It comes with a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of cool features, and probably a pretty good flagship, probably the best flagship as well. But is it worth the money? Like, it is still missing a lot of cool things, like mainly the 90Hz display. So is it the best choice? Would you be willing to spend 80,000 rupees on this phone, or wait for something from Pixel like the Pixel 4 or the Pixel 4 XL, or wait for the next year's Samsung Galaxy S11 Plus? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel, and if you want us to make any specific video, or if you have any questions about this phone, do let us know by commenting below this video, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.